Good morning. I'm sitting here under my favorite tree that I often sit at for my morning walk, and just wanted to tell a story. Welcome to the wisdom tree. Many years ago, there was an old, wise man who would go out every day and sit under a shady tree outside his village just to think. One day, a traveler came up to him and said, "Old man, I've traveled far and wide. I've met many people and seen many things. Can you tell me, if I go into this village, what kind of people will I meet there?" The old man smiled and said, "Yes, I'd be happy to tell you. But first, would you tell me what kind of people you've met along your travels?" "Well, you wouldn't believe it," said the traveler. "I've met the most awful people. People who are selfish and unkind to strangers. People who think only of themselves. I've met young people who I could learn nothing from. And I've met older people who are so hopeless, they depress everyone they meet." The old man nodded in a knowing way and kind of had a sad look begin to grow on his face. And he said, "I know exactly the kind of people you're talking about. And I can assure you that if you go into my village, that's exactly the kind of people that you will meet." "I knew it," said the traveler, kicking the dust and walking down the path and not entering the village. A few hours later, another man came up to him and said, "Kind sir, would you, I've traveled very far and wide. I've seen many things and met many people. Could you tell me, if I go into that village, what kind of people I will meet?" "I would be happy to," said the old man. "But first, could you tell me the kind of people that you've met on your travels?" "Well, you wouldn't believe it. I have met the most amazing people. People who are generous and kind to strangers. People who love everyone like family. I've met older people that are so full of life that they bring joy to everyone they meet." The old man smiled and said, "I know exactly the kind of people that you're talking about. And I can assure you that if you go into my village, that's exactly the kind of people that you will meet there." Then with bright eyes, the traveler looked straight back in the old man's eyes and said, "Please come, tell me, introduce me to those people." So I really enjoy this story. It's one of my favorites right now. And I have learned over the years that you can hear information, you can even have experiences, but if you don't take some time to reflect on them, oftentimes they don't have a lasting impact. So I want to encourage you as you listen to this short little podcast or video cast, whatever we call it, to take some time to reflect on this very interesting story. One little wise saying I heard recently was, when you turn expectations into appreciations, your whole world changes. And so let's just take a minute and reflect on these three characters in the story. The wise man is a man of reflection. Takes every day to think about his life and about things that are meaningful. He's full of gentle curiosity. He's asked these simple questions just to hear the heart of these two travelers. And he's very sincere and authentic in the way he approaches life. And so in that sense, he certainly is a wise man. The first traveler is a man who sees and amplifies the awful. And you might take note that he just calls the man the old man. And he's a man who lives from resentment, from disappointment. A man who had expectations that were never fulfilled. He's a man who lives in enemy mode, you could say, full of hostility rather than hospitality. A man who maps the world with fear, anger, hopelessness. Just sees everybody as awful. The second traveler is a man who sees and amplifies the awesome. And you might notice that when he first trucks up to the old man, he says, "Kind sir," and he looks right in his eyes. He's a man who lives from appreciation rather than resentment. A man who lives in friend mode or full of hospitality. A man who maps the world with eyes of love, delight, hope, hopeful expectation. So I want to encourage you to reflect, and here's a couple of questions, and there'll be a little bit more information to reflect on in the notes above this video, or below this video. But 2 questions. Which person do you most identify with? And which person do you want to become? So all of us as human beings are natural amplifiers. What we focus on, we tend to amplify. What we amplify, we attach to, and what we attach to, we become. So I encourage you in this season, this challenging season all over the planet, to look for the awesome things, to learn how to stay out of enemy mode, and to celebrate and appreciate the beauty and the wonderful things in life, and especially delight in the wonderful and awesome people. Have a good day.